In terms of building your SMMA, I'm going to give you guys the main things that you need in order to sign your first client. So the number one thing that you're going to need is a niche and a service. You can literally find any niche out there that needs help with their social media management, social media marketing, stuff like that through online presence. A lot of these companies need this. You can literally, there's hundreds of different options out there. There's e-com, there's home remodeling, solar, roofing, dentists, chiropractors, lawyers, stuff like that. There's anything out there that you want to choose. You basically don't need, you can basically toss up a niche and just pick what you want. And then the next thing is you need a service. So there's tons of services that you can provide. You can do like just local lead gen. You can do email marketing. You could do like SEO. You could do Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, TikTok ads. You can just basically design websites for people. There's so many different services that you can offer. It's not just, I think a lot of people think that it's just, SMMA is just you running ads through Facebook or Google maybe, just because that's what a lot of people have chosen in the past is, oh, Facebook ads, and they hear that, oh, the companies don't want Facebook ads and stuff like that. So that is one service, but there's literally hundreds of services that you can choose from to provide these companies value. And you just have to basically figure out what's going to work best for you, like what you know how to do best possibly, or what sounds best to you. You really don't even need any experience to start out with. You just need to pick something and stick with it. You need to pick a service and stick to that. So if you don't know what to pick, you can actually test this out. You can email different companies and say, hey, I see you guys don't really have much of an online presence, or your website doesn't look as up to date maybe. What services would you like to see provided to you that would provide value for your company? So you could say like, would it be website design, like lead generation? Would you guys want us to run ads for you? Or just you could do like a big survey. It's basically gathering a bunch of data by you asking all these companies, and then whatever the majority of the answers come back as, that's what you could pick as your service. So there's no real right or wrong answer to this. You just have to pick one of them, have a niche, and stick to that. You don't want to keep switching your niche up. So let's say you're targeting home remodelers. Let's say you do that for like a week and you're like, oh, I'm not making any progress. Oh, they don't want Facebook ads. They don't want Google ads. They already have that. So I'm going to switch to chiropractors. You don't want to do that. You don't want to switch until you get maybe like 6 months down the road or something like that, and you still didn't have any success at all. But the majority of the time you can have success. It's just people say they didn't have success. They switch to another niche, and that's because they didn't try hard enough. Like people think they're trying hard enough, but they're not. Like trying hard for one person is a lot different than trying hard for another person. Some people just do a couple emails. Some people think they can do maybe like 15 DMs to companies and they're going to get a client off that. And then there's other dudes out there doing like 100 emails a day, sending out 100 DMs and 100 emails each per day until they get their first client. And then they say, oh, then those are the dudes that say that they didn't even really have to work that hard, just because their mentality is that they're not going to give up until they reach their goals. And the other dudes are just guys that jumped in the industry trying to just get a quick cash grab. It doesn't work like that. So yeah, you don't want to switch your niche. You don't want to switch your services right away. You want to take time to actually learn your niche, learn your services, so that you can you're going to be comfortable with it. In a couple of months, you're going to be more comfortable with what you do than if you keep switching around. You're not going to know what to do. And that's going to hurt you in the long run. You're not going to get as many clients. Clients aren't going to trust you. They're not going to know you for doing this thing, providing this service. But if you stick with the same thing, they're going to know you in their industry. You help home remodelers with Google ads. They're going to put 2 and 2 together, see that you've delivered a bunch of results to other companies. And that just boosts your, basically that boosts your company to the top. A lot of people are going to want to work with you. Referrals and stuff like that is going to help you a lot, because you're going to be you're going to actually have a little bit of a presence instead of just somebody that's out there sending cold emails all day to them. So the next thing that you're going to need to sign your first client is an offer that can't be refused. So you want to have an offer that catches these companies' eyes and it makes them think about it and even get on a call. That's the number one thing, is you want to get them on a call to where you can basically learn more about their company, bring out their pains, and then you'll sign them as a client. But the number one thing is you want to get them on a call. And when you have an amazing offer, people listen to that. They see that, they open the emails, they listen on the phone calls, they look at your ads, whatever you're doing to attract these clients. They're going to find you when you have a certain offer that they can't refuse. And also you show social proof with that. They're not going to be able to refuse an appointment, guys. Like, at the end of the day, when they hear your pricing and stuff like that, they may bring up objections and stuff like that. But in order to get them into the sales call, they're not going to refuse that if you have a great offer. So you can't just have an offer saying like, we do this and this and this, and you have no social proof. You need to have an offer that's basically going to say that, hey, if we're going to work until we get you this outcome, and if we don't, pretty much you're not paying us, or we're going to sit there and do it until we do get you these results. It's going to be free until you do get these results, or something that makes them, that takes away risk from them. Because a lot of these companies, it's sad to say, but a lot of these business owners don't want to take risks to build their companies. So it takes a lot of risk to get rewards from it. But a lot of these company owners that are somewhat, they're not big time at all, but they're making a decent amount of money, they don't take any type of risks, is what I've learned in this game. Specifically in the niche that I was in, they don't really like to take a risk. So when you mitigate that risk to as a little amount as possible, that's what they like to see. They like to hear that you're going to get them results guaranteed. The one thing that I will say that you don't need a great offer is that you have a bunch of social proof. So if you have like 10 clients that you got results for, and you have them on like a VSL sheet, like video, or like maybe your website with testimonials and stuff like that, all you literally have to do is show them the testimonials and the social proof. And then you could just say, hey, we charge $3,000 per month. Are you going to sign with us or not? Like, it's literally that simple. Like, you don't need all these crazy offers. We'll work with you until you reach your goal or your money back. Plus, we'll give you $2,000 extra if we don't come up with the results that we guaranteed. You don't need any of that once you get to a certain point. And I've seen it with a lot of these agencies, like the bigger ones that I've learned from and taken courses from and stuff like that. These dudes literally don't even need the crazy thing about it, they don't even need like a guarantee or nothing like that. They literally just have to show you their social proof page. Like, if there's any objections or anything like, this is the crazy thing, like if there's any objections or anything like that on the sales call, they literally say, here, look at this link. They send that link over, social proof everywhere. People in that same niche getting results from this company, and they're like, oh, here's my $3,000, like, take it. If you're gonna bring me back 10 to 20K for $3,000, they're like, oh, I'll take that quick. But the thing is, when you're signing your first client, you don't really have that type of social proof. So you will need a great offer that cannot be turned down. So the next thing that you're going to need is a couple of softwares and just some of the tools that you need to actually do outreach and stuff like that. So you're going to need Zoom for number one. Zoom is where you're going to do your sales call. Well, you can have Zoom or like, I think it's like Google Meet or whatever. Any form of like video chat that you can do one-on-one, so that you can talk face-to-face with your clients and stuff like that. When you get on these sales calls, you can have your camera on so they can put a face to the company. You need to have your camera on actually to start out with, before, especially when you haven't signed them. It's just they're coming straight off a cold outreach into a sales meeting with you. You need to have your camera on to provide your presence and that show that you're here, you're a real person, you're not scamming, and just speak like a man, talk one-on-one, face-to-face with them. People really appreciate that. Sometimes they won't have their camera on, and that's all right. You still need to have your camera on even if they have theirs off. It just shows that you're about your principles and you're a businessman. It's unprofessional to have your camera off. So you need to have Zoom for the calls so that you can also record them and get feedback. When you record these calls, you're going to get a lot of feedback, and that's going to help you build your business. The more feedback you have when you go back, it's pretty much like watching film. Like in basketball, you go and we watch film every day. You watch film of the team that you're getting ready to play against, so that you know what you need to do against them what you need to do when you play against them, what you can do better, stuff like that. It's the same way with calls. You get off the call and it's recorded. You go back and look. Say you didn't sign them as a client. You go back and look. Why didn't I sign them as a client? You go back and look, and you're like, hey, this could have been better. I could have worded this a lot differently. I could have explained this more to them so that they'd have a better understanding. They're saying they would want this service instead of this service. Oh, maybe I can think about that. I can put that, I can add that to my service instead. And then you see over time, when you have a bunch of calls, a lot of them are going to relate to each other. These companies are going to want the same thing. You can go back, oh, maybe I need to change my offer to this. Everybody's asking for this instead of what I had to offer. It's just simple like that. Like the film is what is going to kill it. Like once you get that film, you need to keep watching that. And that's what's going to solidify your brand, your brand and your company to what you guys do and what services you can provide. So yeah, you need Zoom. The next thing you need is an email or a phone number, even email or a phone, one or the other. You most likely, I would recommend you do need an email either way. 100% you do need an email, because you're going to have to go back and forth with people through email, whether that's they didn't want to book a call or they're having problems hopping on the call. You're going to have a lot of problems with people. They're going to schedule an appointment and then they're going to forget about it, and you just have to email them maybe or call them. You need to do both actually, but you need to email them and let them know, hey, you missed the call. Would you want to reschedule? What time works best for you? And they'll reach back out to you. Hey, yeah, I just got busy. Let's schedule this time. You need an email to do outreach as well. So you need to be able to send emails out. So email is very important. You also need contract signing, like basically where you get a signature, like a software that you can get a contract signed. So let's say you do sign a client, you need to have them sign the contract so that everything is written out in stone and stuff like that. So if there's any legal issues and stuff like that, it won't come back to bite you. They can't take you to court or anything like that and say you tried to do this or that. So it's just a way to be safe for your company, is to have them sign a document saying, hey, we're going to give you Facebook ads or like Google ads example for a month, 30 days at this price and with this guaranteed offer. And then they just have to sign it so that they can't come back and say, hey, you guys guaranteed us this, like I want my money back. And they throw a big fit and they turn it to something legal because you didn't have anything written out and you can't have anything to fall back on. So you want to have like a contract signature in place. So you'll need that as a software, which is probably like, I think it's maybe like you can get it for $10 to $15 per month as a charge. It's nothing serious that you need. It's just something that you want to have just for your safety of your company, so nothing comes up. And then the last thing in terms of like the tools that you need like a payment processor. So whether that's Stripe or whatever you want to take, whatever you're comfortable taking payments over, you need to have that, because if you don't have anything set up, and then you get on a call with the client and at the end of the call, they're like, okay, let's go ahead and do that. $1,500, I'll wire it over to you right now. Do you have a way of payment? And then you're just like stuck. You're like, oh, I didn't know I was going to even get a client. Like, you're like, oh shoot, like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to take a payment? So you always want to have like a Stripe or something that you have a profile on that's ready to go, so that when somebody is ready to make a decision, you can just send that invoice right away. They just pay it, and you can have it recurring every single month, or maybe it's just a one-time thing. You can just have it sent to their email. They can't say, hey, yeah, I'll go think about it. You're like, no, we have it ready to go right here. Here's the invoice. Send it, pay me the amount, and we can start this right away. They bring up the objections. Don't let them keep objecting. You just got to conquer the objections. They're going to say, hey, yeah, well, I'll think about it. We'll pay it eventually, whatever. You're like, no, you just send it right away. You need a payment processor to take the money, and then everything starts after that. So the next thing you're gonna need is a lead list. So once you have everything set in place, your niche, service that you provide, your offer, all that stuff set up, you're gonna need a list of leads, or you're gonna need to gather leads at least to figure out what people you need to target, who you need to reach out to, so that you can actually have these calls. So you need to either buy a big list, scrape leads, do whatever you need to. Go on Google, find every company and just call them, find their emails on Google Maps, stuff like that. Send them emails. Whatever you need to do to gather a lead list, you need to do that, because you need to have that's the most important thing. I mean, if you don't have a list of leads, who are you going to reach out to? So the last thing that you need in order to sign your first client, and the most major key to this whole process, is a mindset. You need to have the best mindset and a mentality that says you're never going to quit until you get results. If you have that mentality, you're literally never going to stop, whether it takes you 2 months to get your first client, or if it takes you a year to get your first client. You're never going to give up. The best type of people that are most successful is the people that never quit. The dudes that stayed there for years trying to get to 10K, the dudes that stayed in for 2 years trying to reach 5 to 10K, those are the dudes that are going to get to like 100K plus per month